Welcome back, Sam. What's up, brother?
Well, hey, how's it going? How's everything?
Man, I've had some technical issues. Let me tell you, I've got on top of it. So hopefully it's going to be all good. I've been there's some issues with Vodafone. But anyway, welcome to the show, The Change Room, Mindful Chats for the Game of Life. Today's our second episode. Sam, welcome back. I'm so wrapped that you're back, mate. And we're brought to you on the Jumper Punch channel. So just let me say a couple of things quickly before I get you started, because some really good news is we've got a couple of members who've just joined that have become members of the Jumper Punch, which is great.
Awesome.
So I'm just going to put it up there. Please like, subscribe, get on there, etc. So these are the new members of the Jumper Punch. Now, I was supposed to do my intro, but that was so crazy behind. Do you want me to do the intro or forget it? Because I'm pretty happy.
No, do a quick intro. Do a quick intro. Listen, this is episode number 2. This is episode number 2. Yeah. Do a quick intro. Go for it.
How good's that?
That's so cool. That's so
Thanks
cool.
to Mars and the Jumper Punch that's done this for us. So I'm very, very happy that he's done all the background stuff for us. So Sam, as we said, so just those that are joining for the first time, this is our second episode. Just a real quick rundown what the show's about. Let them know, and they're going to hit you up with the topic, and we'll take it from there. So tell them what the show is.
Great. So, I mean, we came up with this show called The Change Room. Basically, part of it has to do with sports, athletics, and life in general. We called it The Change Room for just a bit of a play on words, but it's where we can actually speak our mind about certain situations, experiences, and certain plays or strategies where we don't have to be censored, so to speak, about something, really speaking our mind, giving our views in the change room, because that's where real change happens, right? So that's the whole point of the show. Me and Rash have been actually having so much conversation about this. We're both coaches, come from the world of neuro-linguistic programming, hypnosis, and a lot of our chats happen to be, stuff that we would love to share with people that people don't normally listen to. It's almost like you're a fly on the wall or meeting us in a coffee shop and, joining us in for the chat. And we're going to be bringing some topics to the table. And I believe today we have a couple, right?
Absolutely. Great intro. So today, what I was going to, obviously, we're on the Jumper Punch. I'm a Mad Carlton supporter, as you can see there in the background. And one of the things is, just in general, there's a guy called Lewis Young. You don't need to know who he is, whether you're from different sport. But what I'm pretty happy is, he gets a lot of flack. He's like the second in. So at the moment, we've got our major fullback. He's out, and he's filling in. And he's had spurs of good form, but really in the last couple of weeks, he's actually stood up. And I think there's 2 topics I want to talk about. That's one, and just in general, how when you're put in a place, and what's weird is when a number one man comes back in, he plays crap, which is weird, right? So we're hoping that he doesn't get a game. So I want to talk about stepping up as one. And then the other thing is I want to talk about after that is I want to talk about the discipline and Ramadan. And one of our players is doing Ramadan at the moment. And I'm doing Ramadan, and I've been doing it for years. So I want to talk about discipline and the mindset of that. So let's go with the first point of Lewis Young. I've briefed you on this already, Sam, and just from the outset, just stepping up and how there's 2 things I want you to sort of explain here. It's when you're put into the deep end, you got to step up. You become the number one backman, and then what happens when the number one backman comes back in, right? Because you're almost there. It's like the leadership role. Like you're in charge. Sure. Now he comes back in. And our number one backman should come back in the next week or 2. So go ahead, mate. Floor's yours.
Right. Well, from what I know about this, it's like when you rise up to an occasion, like, and you're not given much of a chance, maybe, or you find that opportunity, I believe that we set ourselves up for that, for the most part, unconsciously, which means that we've been actually waiting for that moment, and we've been either ruminating about it or dreaming about it, and it's running unconsciously. Like, when that moment comes, this is what I'll do, or I'll be ready for it. Now, it's not a conscious exercise. It's not a conscious experience. So when I hear stories like that, I I feel that we were making ourselves ready for that situation. So, like I said, it's not a conscious experience. You're not thinking about it consciously. You're not aware of it. But when the time comes, you will rise up to that occasion. You will do what's needed of you at that certain point in time. And so that's same things with opportunities. Meeting new people, certain connections. In the back of our mind, there's something running, something that we've been thinking about that has been on our mind for a while, and we'd like to do it. When we daydream and we imagine these kind of scenarios. So I feel unconsciously, for the most part, this player was actually, like, he was waiting for it. Like, there was a time for him where he was going to get ready, and the opportunity presented itself, and then he acted upon it. So that's my quick kind of like summary on that. But what about you, Rich?
I don't know. See, because I'm following the game and I see what happens, and I don't think he was like ready for it. I think he's a person that's a little bit trying to give you the scenario in the way I see it. He's a person that's probably been out of favor for a little bit. He stepped up, right? When the number one guy is behind. I agree with you. I think it's the unconscious thing, but I think that what happens is that when you're in that position, right? Just like in anything, like you think you can't deal with something. I'm not just talking about in football. I'm thinking in life. You'll be surprised at how you just stand up. You turn up for things. And do you know what I mean, Sam? Like, that's what I'm trying to say. It's not about he's done okay in the last couple of weeks, right? But what I'm saying is that I think that when you're in that position, boom,
Right.
You're ready to stand up. So yeah. So I just wanted to say, and how that relates to business and in life, and then even when we're coaching people. So yeah, got some
Sure.
some hellos there from Paul Sebastiani from the Jumper Punch and our dear friend Rocco.
Nice.
So yeah. So
Cool.
so that's I don't want to talk too much about Lewis Young and stuff. I think what all I wanted to say about that is it's commendable what he's done in the last couple of weeks and that he stepped up. And still people will try to compare him to the number one guy. And he's not the number one guy. He's a different beast. He's not as good as the number one, in my opinion. But the whole point about this is that you step up. And that can happen in a work environment. That can happen anywhere. Right. And what I think the behind the scenes of that, Sam, is that, as what you were saying, is that the automatic unconscious behavior just kicks in without you knowing. Do you ready to step up? Go ahead.
It does. But what I wanted to make very clear was, and this is a little bit far off the plate here, but when I said something that's happening unconsciously, we set ourselves up for that situation.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not conscious, Rash. Like, when we're in a certain place, there was a reason that we were there. That's what I'm saying. So whatever he happens to be in, or whatever he did, it looks like a surprise, but it's not a surprise. That's what I'm trying to get to. So but being in a certain play, in a certain move, it looks like it's a surprise, and it does when you see it at face value. But I'm referring to when you actually show up in a certain place. You were meant to show up there. That's what I'm trying to say. You were meant to show up there. So whatever it is that you're doing, either a play, a move, someone you meet, although it looks random, And it does on face, out of face value. It's no, that person has been training for the most part unconsciously to be in that situation. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. But I just want to say one thing is that because I sent you the highlights, you've seen the highlights, so you've got no, So I think he's not a great player because I've seen him over the years, right? You're looking at it for the first time and you're going, dude, wow, just from the highlights, right? So this is yeah. Go.
But I'm not commenting, Rash. I'm not commenting whether he's a good player or not a good player. I'm just saying that the topic was he was there in a position and he acted on it, whether good, bad, or ugly. It's irrelevant. It's
stepping
the fact
up.
is he stepped up there, and that's what you do, right? And it had to be him, nobody else, him at that point in time.
Yeah. Meant to be stuff. All right. So if we're done with that, I just want to talk to you about Ramadan. This is the next thing, right? I'm doing Ramadan, and you're in the Middle East, and obviously you're in Dubai at the moment. So for those who don't know, Sam and I have been very close friends for a long, long time. We've done podcasts. It's not our first, what's the word? That's not our first rodeo. So we've done it for a while. And I'm so glad. I'm wrapped that we're back. We're back on this. So I want to talk about Ramadan. So Ramadan is, those who don't know, 30 days, or roughly about 30 days fasting from sunrise to sunset. You can't eat. But it's not only that, it's a discipline of just not talking bad about someone. What else, Sam? Give it to me. No sex, no vaping, no smoking, whatever. Everything, and it really puts you into perspective. I mean, that's the whole thing about the month. It's a discipline. And one of our players, which is Adam Saad, is Lebanese, and he's doing Ramadan. And he played last week. He's not the first guy to play, but he played and up to the first quarter, and then he was able to break his fast. But the point is, what's amazing, and I want to talk about discipline here as a mindset. One, he played amazing, right? He's got no food, no drink for the whole day towards the end of it, and yet he's still able to perform. And I guess it's the same, similar thing. This is why it's sort of like interconnected what we're saying before with Lewis Young and stuff like that, is that when the time is right, you step up, right? Even, you don't think you can do it, you can do it. I mean, so this is what I want to say. So discipline, I don't know how he does it. I mean, I went to the gym yesterday. I was doing Ramadan yesterday. I went to the gym at 6:00. We don't eat until about 7:40. And it was tough. Yeah, because your energy, if you haven't eaten, and because those who don't know about who's Sam, if he wants to flex his muscles, he's he's been going to you go to the gym, what, 5 days a week? I mean, you like almost like one stage you were doing bodybuilding like full on. Yeah. I mean, so that anyway, I've gave you the sort of like the nice intro. Give it to me, man.
Well, listen, I mean, when we talk about Ramadan, we're talking really about like discipline. We're talking about, tapping into and reflecting into, that deeper part of us of, what's our job here? How do we, practice, kind of peace and connection and, love thy neighbor.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful time of the year because it really, it kind of in some ways challenges you to reflect on yourself and your journey. Because we all kind of want the same thing, right? We all want peace. We all want good health. We all want to be successful, and our versions of success, vary from person to person. But it's just finding that peace within, and in order to really, do that and enjoy it, it's developing some sort of discipline that you can, get back in control of your own life. And that's the way I see it. That's my definition of Ramadan.
Yeah, look, I can tell you, and I don't know what it is, and I think I'm a pretty calm guy. Sam, I tell you, the first day or two,
We're
it's
tough.
not that not that I'm hungry. It's not hungry. It's like I start getting grumpy. Like I'm telling people off on the phone. I'm like, or the real like absolute honesty. You know, sometimes you're not that I'm not honest, but you know, sometimes you could when you talk to someone, you don't give it straight because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings, right? So you go on the sort of, but you get to the point.
Right.
I got no buffer at the moment. Just I tell you the way it is. I even told you the other day. You know, we're doing the job together, and I told you, was I rude, or do you think it was blunt, or maybe you can explain? I'm gonna just put.
Yeah. Interesting. No, no, no. I'm happy that you brought that up. I'm happy that you brought that up
And I'm gonna put
because
a comment here, but yeah, go.
with, without getting into details, there was an exchange between Rich and myself, and it was polite. Okay, I wouldn't say it was not polite. It was polite, and I would say a bit too blunt, but that's okay, and that's okay. I have no problem with that statement. On a text message, just speaking your mind that way, because I know where you were coming from. But don't forget that it was also one-sided. There's always two sides to the story, my friend.
I'm not going to argue with you on the show, but I will push you on it because, and I'll let comments come through. And I just wanted to say there is a comment I'm going to put on. Paul's put a comment. I will put it in after this discussion, and we'll answer that for Paul. Go ahead, Sam.
No, I was just saying that. I mean, was your comment polite and was it succinct and to the point? Of course it was. I don't think you had any.
I don't know if it was polite. I was a bit fed up. Like I was like in the mood of I was shooting from the hips. You know me, Sam. You know how I shoot from the hips.
Yeah, no, I think I think you actually like spoke your mind. It's not your usual you. I noticed that. You would
Yeah,
normally kind of things more, a
smooth.
little bit more smooth and around those edges. But I did notice it was a little bit pushy, but still polite. You didn't bypass that that border.
So can I tell him what happened? I'm going to tell him. Not can I? This is us just discussing.
Don't go. No,
Come
come
on.
on. No, I mean the people have other things to think about. Come on, they want to get into the nitty gritty. I mean, let us know in the comments, man. I mean, if they want to hear it, we'll tell them. But
All right.
pull up
We'll let's just say that during Ramadan, like I was saying to you, and I've gone off tangent a little bit. I am absolutely blunt. I'm telling you, it's the best time to catch me. And if you want to get, so look, there's a comment there. It's from Paul. Look, Paul wants to tell us, okay, and then Rocco saying he wants to know. So I reckon I'm going to tell. So there's a job. So Sam does some consultancy for a company, and I do consultancy for another company. And he said to me, "It's like Rash, can you help me out? I need a track for this brand without talking what the brand is, and I'll send it across." So we've already worked out the finer details, Sam and I, and I was like, "All right, great." So to get this thing happening for Sam is not an easy thing. Because his request is not a everyday type request. And then the other thing is I had to go from office to office. I had to end up getting what he needed from Poland office. So you imagine all these little things that I had to do. That's why
which I didn't know that you were doing all of that.
You didn't know. I think I told you it's not an easy job. So I'm going to hit you up on that, Sam. I'm going to hit you up. Anyway,
Well, good. It's kind
the point is, in the end, I've sent it. The clients asked me what's happening. Sam has completely forgot. He hasn't even got back to me. And I'm like, what the hell? We had to do all this. And then I went to Sam in a nice way, but I was very blunt. I said, Sam, come on, mate. If I've done this for you, I've done it for you. And I've gone all these different things. But you need to get back to me. And I think that's polite, not polite. I think it's blunt, and I think it's a good thing.
Right. No. Listen. I think it's right. Listen, people don't know the whole context, obviously, but I requested something from Rich because he's also in the music industry. He knows the music industry, and he can literally make a phone call, and to that point, turn this thing around pretty quickly. That's the whole point because I know his pull power as an A&R music person producer who can do that. And so when I was looking for something for a client, it was, you know what, I'll call my mate Rich. He knows he'll get me something fairly quickly and it's done. It's a phone call away. Now, of course, he's saying that there's a lot of other things that he needs to do in the process to do that. Yeah, he's making it sound like it's a big chore. I get that, no problem. Yep. But at the end of the day, things drag. Our clients don't even get back to us during that time. So, anyways, we throw it behind us.
It's not Taylor Swift tickets. It's not Taylor Swift because someone's put a comment. It's not Taylor Swift tickets, but okay.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Listen, I wanted to touch on something really cool on leveling up and opportunities. I just want to circle back on that, if I may.
Yeah. Do you want to answer Paul's question first?
Yeah. Bring it up.
Or do you want to? So I just want to, because he's asked me on this. So he says, Rash, we always spoke about the way in which carton players learnt their skills and developed their mindsets. What do you think has been the difference in Teague to now? So Teague is the old coach, and now. It's really hard to answer that question, to be honest. I'm just going to keep it on there without knowing inside. You mean we're gonna really just assume here? There's a couple of things that I wanted to say. What's changed from then? And Teague was, I think, 2021. Was it 22? 22 he finished up. So Voss has been there for 2 years. Yeah. So he's done 22, 23, and 24. This is his third year. So one thing is for sure maturity. So players. So what's the difference between 22 and one leader, and then 20 now currently with this crop and the leader's been with them the last 2 years? Definitely is maturity. The players have got older. That's one. Two could be winning culture, right? There's a culture within that because the new coach has got a presence. He was, aside from being, and I've told you about Voss, Sam. Voss was like, he's like, seriously, as a Carlton supporter, this guy is one of the best players. I admire him as an opposition. Go, my God, what a gun! He was a gun player. So his presence, and he's been around success, and he's a premiership captain for like three, like I think they did 3 in a row, right? That sort of already comes with a presence and respect, and he's learned from the best. So his mentors, you know what I mean? So I don't know if you want to add to that without you knowing, but just like maybe you could talk about, because
you touched on something. Yeah, you touched on something really important. It's a winning culture. I think once you start kind of moving into a place where you can form something and people start to follow it, you come up with an organization, and that organism is a culture. And I think that's a big thing actually when things get going. My other question was, I actually wanted to mention, why was Paul wearing a suit in that picture? I've never seen him in a suit.
Oh no, but that's his when he's
that's the series.
No, that's when he goes to the races. So he does some racing calls, so he's got to be formalized for that. But no, usually he's wearing, as you call them, sweatpants. We call them track pants, and he's chilling.
What about Fred's question? Do you think it's the way he delivers the message? Who is he referring to?
Yeah, for sure. There's a different message. It comes with, it's a different tonality. It's not the same people. It's different. So that can be the message. The other thing that you probably don't, I'm not sure if people do know, is Voss has got an NLP background. Just the coach.
Is he?
Yeah,
I didn't know
he's not certified. He's. I think I've seen it on his.
He's taken some courses.
He's taken some courses, but he's not a NLP coach. But he would understand the mental game. So, so that's that. Yeah. We've got a comment from Rocco. There you go. Have a read of that, Sam.
Does someone take more notice because the leader has more respect because he's achieved more? Well,
So the coach, this coach,
yeah,
Voss, achieved more than the other coach, revered. So, imagine even like, forget football for a second. Imagine you're working in the corporate life. You get a
right.
boss, and he's been a legend in the business, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that. Just we're talking now, just absolute, just perception.
It is. I got it. Okay. Yes. No. Well, first, the short end answer to that is, of course, because he's coming in with more credibility, more authority, more clout. So that's definitely going to be a good start when you're coming into a certain place. People are going to listen to you, right? You mean business. You've done it before, so to speak. You've got that experience behind you. So for sure.
It's the other thing is, you know what it is? It's even us. And when we go and talk to someone as coach, right? Someone could be coaching for 20 years. You've been coaching for 5 years. It's the way you turn up, right? It's the way you hold yourself. Do you know what I mean, Sam? I think there's that it's the invisible thing of you showing up and the way you deliver, right? So you don't know me today, and the way I talk to you about the music business or about mental, my delivery and the way I'm speaking, even the way I'm speaking right now, Sam.
Right.
Good to say that. Delivers that if you go, oh, okay, the guy sounds like he knows what he's doing.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, there's this thing in NLP called your frame, controlling your frame. So going back to Rocco's question, you can either enter this, in my opinion, of course, is coming into approaching it in two different ways. One is you're coming in as a student and you're learning. Obviously, the frame of a student is you're listening, watching, learning, stuff like that, or retaining information. Whereas if you're coming in as a teacher, your frame is different. So yes, going back to Fred's point, absolutely presence and holding the room. That's a frame. So going back to the point that Rocco made, that if you're coming in as either a new boss, a new captain, chief, they've got the experience behind them. Hence, the frame that they're going to be choosing is obviously natural now because they've got all that experience. They can come in and own that place. That's the frame. Same thing applies to players, by the way. Like, are you owning your frame of a champion or of a leader or of a good passer or support and assist? That is a frame, right? Some people are labeled. I'm not sure if you know the other sports, but they're labeled as being good support players. They're not great forwards, but they're good supports. They've done that in their early years, and all of a sudden they've been branded that way. Now they're just called good supportive players. So every sport has them, but it's another frame, of course. Go ahead.
So the other thing is, I agree with that totally. But however, there's been cases where you could be a fantastic player. You might have even been a fantastic leader as a player. Yet, when it comes down to being a coach, you're shit, right? So you might have been good in your frame for that. Doesn't mean that absolutely translates. I just want to put it out there. Doesn't mean it translates to that.
100%. Good observation.
You're a great businessman, and you give great to the community. It doesn't mean you're a great husband.
Great observation. You're absolutely right. I think this is, like I said, if you go back to the frame, we operate in that frame, the behaviors, the attitudes, the what we know about something, how we speak to people. Like if I asked anyone in the audience, imagine just for now that you're a captain or leader of the team, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure if you really imagine that right now, you'll know how to behave. You'll know how to sit, talk, walk, everything based on that frame or that position. And so when you do that long enough, you start to assume it, and people feel it when you're on the field or when you're around different people. When you pick that. So going back to your point, Rash, when you actually change roles or change frames, you can't fit into that other frame because I know someone, he's an uncle, he's in the police force. And
Yeah.
when he leaves the police force, comes back home, he cannot be that same person anymore. He's a chief. He's not a chief in the house, bro. He's like right at the bottom of the rung in his family.
That's so funny. That's so funny. That's true. Or you could be, like a big crazy leader in the workplace, and you're such a softie in front of your wife and kids. I've had that, seen that before. The contrast, the different avatar that you have. I'm just reading Lana's message there. Vossi definitely commands more respect. He's been the Summit 1-3 fantastic leader that everyone wants to follow, impress. I agree, but however, even if you're that, doesn't mean that, like we've got one of the greatest captains that we've had at Carlton. His name is Steve Kernahan. It's another topic we'll talk about, but greatest leader, but he's never been coached, so we don't know. He was a great player, but that doesn't mean he can. And great leader doesn't mean they can still do that role. So let's just say it's a prerequisite that if you're doing that, it gives you a good chance to be a great coach, but doesn't mean you will be as you were as a player and leader. You'll assume the same position in the coach. It doesn't work like that. Agree, Sam?
Yeah, no, I agree. Does it mean that that's the case in everywhere you go? But it plays a role. If people are trained, at and he's an NLP, or like he understands NLP as a leader, right? Then
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll take those kind of like avatars and map those behaviors across to other things. You could do that if you're trained to do that, but like Rash was mentioning earlier, it's not the case. It's not a standard. It's an exception more than it is a rule.
There's some more comments. I'm just going to throw that before you do the circling. And there's a story I want to talk about you. I don't know if I ended up talking about it last week. I don't think I did. But today...
I don't think you should. I think you should keep it for the next one, because the next one, we've got something planned really nice too. So.
All right. So let's go through the comments. So Rocco's saying here...
So a good leader also should give responsibility to others, elevate, and they'll elevate you. Absolutely. But that's the thing. It's becoming the example. Like, you have to become the example so you can, pull people up with you. For those who want to be pulled up. Some people don't want to be pulled up. They don't want to be elevated. So yes, if the other person who's following wants to be, elevated, like I said, a lot of people like to stick with their comfort zones.
Okay, cool. There's a nice comment from Lana. She loves the show. Right on. Thanks, Lana. You need to build trust. Trust is very important. But here's one thing. I don't know if they're going to. I mean, you could be a great leader. It doesn't mean you're doing something right. I mean, you look at Hitler, and I know it's an extreme case, but what the fuck, man? Hitler was a great leader for the Germans. Great. He had them all entranced. You know that, right? Yeah. We're talking about ethical and empathy and stuff like that. He might have had it to his people. Right, but still, anyway, that's probably another topic. We've gone. Hit me up when I'm going. Yeah.
Let's go back up to a positive here. That should say, let them elevate. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let them, exactly. At least give them the opportunity to do that. Like a great leader would inspire, create the space or the soil, for these people to kind of like bloom, so to speak. And I think that would essentially be the best job of a leader, is to create that space for his team or his followers to grow from. That's true elevation, becoming that example and setting that stage for growth.
But Sam, it's leaders can do that, and then if you don't have the right people, they could take advantage of that. Say, I'm going to let you elevate, do that, and they can be lazy and stuff like that.
But you listen. You got a knife. you can use a knife to cut a cake, and you can use a knife to hurt someone, to kill someone. So again, it always cuts both ways. Cuts both ways.
Double-edged sword. All right, very good, very good. All right, so let's loop it up. Sam, I'm just noticing we've been 35 minutes. Totally cool. I'm cool to keep going, really. And if we're helping people, educating them, and we haven't even got started. Seriously, guys, I'm telling you, we're going to do some hypnosis stuff. We're going to talk about hypnosis, conversational. Anyway, keep going, Sam.
There's a lot. Yeah, listen, we're really scratching the surface here. We haven't really dived into what we normally dive into, but there's just so much to talk about and share and dissect and stuff like that. And we look forward right now to every Thursday, 5 o'clock your time, 10 o'clock my time, to chat about this kind of stuff. There's so much we could share. You should hear the chats that we have. And
they're hearing it now. They're hearing it now. A bit of it, sneak peek.
Exactly. And as you are hearing this right now, let us know in the comments if there's anything specific, any topics that you want to really know about, you want to learn more about, you want to take our opinions about, whatever that is. Like, let us know. I mean, we feed off you too, right? So we want to make it engaging, interactive, and something people would look forward to every week, just as much as we do.
Can I just say, there's a comment there from Lana, and she says, that's why Cripper is such a great captain. Yes. Can I just say, he's been captain for a while. He's only become a great captain now since he's allowed. He used to go out there and try to lead by example and take it all on. Sometimes he do too much. Now he's become, in my opinion, become a better leader now because he doesn't need to be the guy that does it all. Right? He's leading from example. When it used to get tough, he gets tougher, right? But he used to, and his maturity has changed. So I think it's just exciting times. You know, you got good people around, good vibes, good leaders, good culture, all that sort of stuff. You know, it's important. Right. Anyway, that's enough about that. Sam, wrap up your part about you want to loop it all. Lana, like,
well, I was just circling back on like opportunities and stuff. I think opportunities, when we say opportunities, it's like, is it a new a play? Is it a?
I like the way you say play. You know, because we don't say play. We don't say play.
What do you say?
I don't know. Anyone in the comments tell me? But I know we don't say play because it's an American thing.
Okay. Well, move.
Is it a move? No, it's not play. I can tell you, it's not play. It's
fine. When you just keep thinking about that, I'm referring to opportunities. I'm referring to opportunities where you want to be involved and you want to connect it to something bigger, or taking that first step. And I think that first step constitutes an opportunity. And a lot of people, I see that they don't see it that way. They see it's like, well, if there's something good for me, it'll find me, so to speak. I mean, it's true to some sense, but not really when you apply yourself. It's application. It's like you have to go to it. If it's something that you really want, you have to apply yourself. This is real opportunity. This is being in the right place at the right time. If you want to go there. We do say set play.
That's what we do. We do set plays. We do set plays.
Good. So set plays. There you go. Now it works. So good. And then we also want to talk about hypnosis. I just saw someone earlier say, yes, hypnosis. Hypnosis is really powerful. Like really powerful.
We should talk about some of our stories, Sam, that we've done. The one, Sam is really great at doing this. I wish we could show it somehow. He does a hand stick. So I was with you. I've seen you do it to a couple of people whilst I was there, and he makes someone's hand stick to the table, and they try to take it off. They can't take it off. The more they try, finish it off, Sam.
Yeah. The more they are unable to take it off.
You're supposed to do You know, the more, what was it when you do it, when you're putting them into the trance, you go, the more you try, the more you cannot. You know the words.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
just
The
to
more
say,
you
we probably
focus.
lose people by saying this, but that's a form of hypnosis now. So if you just heard what we just said in the last 10, 15 seconds and you got lost, then we put you into a little bit of a trance.
Yeah. So that's the whole purpose of trance really, is connecting to your subconscious or your unconscious mind. And those are basically the domains of like activity, performance. So you want to change something about yourself that, either a habit or an addiction or getting better at something, develop new serving habits. This is all done on an unconscious slash subconscious level through hypnosis. And that's how powerful it can be. I don't know who's watching through the screen exactly, or the number of people. How many people are watching here now, Red?
I've
What's the number?
got at the moment, it's not that many. I think it's just under 10, just on 10 at the
All
moment.
right.
But that's on YouTube. So I don't know what's on Facebook is probably a whole bunch of other people.
Well, I'm
So,
going to
but
share.
yeah,
Got it. I want to share with everyone just a couple of words. Eh, How do you feel when I say the word imagine?
okay,
How do you feel when I say the word imagine? Okay.
okay. That's a good point. We'll see what they say. I've got Rocco here. Some comments here. What's he saying?
Opportunity is always there. Why are some scared to take it? Fear of failure.
For
For the
sure.
most part, yes, Rocco. For the most part, yes. Fear, there's always a fear. That's the obstacle. And I always say fear it serves two purposes. Either it's rational or irrational. A rational
Rash.
fear.
Rash.
If it's a rational fear, that means if I ask you to go to the top of a 15-story building and look down, that's a rational fear. Like pretty much anyone can look down and say, whoa, so that's a little bit scary. So that's a rational fear. An irrational fear is, just looking both ways before you cross the road, or sorry, jumping into oncoming traffic, or, that's irrational. It doesn't make sense.
Or going onto the first floor and looking down and going, oh my God, what the hell's going on? Right? So if in the same contrast, like you're talking about 15th
Yeah.
floor, looking down
Yeah.
and having a rational fear, or going to the first floor and looking down, and that's irrational. But
Yeah,
that's a
it's
really good example, Sam.
so fear is something that holds a whole bunch of people back. It is an obstacle. It's definitely an obstacle. But there's something through that we need to learn. Is this fear true? Is it true for you? Or like,
It
can
would
you
be
do
true.
it? Right?
Sam, can I just say, and we'll talk about other things. Look, there's a whole bunch of different topics we're going to talk about. Obviously, the show's about the connections with Carlton Jumper Punch. We'll talk about Carlton where we can, but there is so many topics. When you just said now, whatever you believe is true, I just want to say that people that have anxiety, and we'll talk about anxiety because a lot of people suffer from anxiety. In their mind, it is true. So I was watching a podcast the other day.
Can I make
Yeah,
it just a clarification though, Rash?
of course you can. Yeah,
It's not about is it true, as in am I feeling this, or that means that it's real to them. I said
yeah,
I said it's not true. There's a difference between true and real. Now, if someone's
okay.
actually going through something like anxiety or depression or stress or whatever that is, that's real to them. Okay, so get that out of the way. The question was, is it true for you? Which means that can you go beyond this? Is it possible for you?
So give
That's
me an example. Now let's do an example because
I'll give you an
you know
example before we veer
I
off
just
too
learned
much.
something. I learned something now. Yeah. So yeah, go.
So if I'm going through something right now, like what are we talking about?
Anxiety.
Like a certain play. Let's call it a set play here. Okay, we want to do something here. Can we do something here where what do I fear about that? Am I unable to do that? Will people think of me differently? Would I get bad reviews? Obviously there's some sort of anxiety attached to that. Maybe some stress attached to that. So those thoughts are real to that person. So there's no question about that. But is it true? True being, does it happen with everyone? Can you confirm that? Can you prove that it happens with everyone? Is there a possibility you can actually go beyond this? Right? So that's what we're referring to here. Like, it doesn't have to be untrue. Not real. It has to. It's real for them. But we're talking about something whether it's true or not. And I hope that's we're running out of time. But
yeah, but that's fucking awesome, Sam. Love that. Love that. It's so true. And I think that this is where someone could, by listening in, just might get an idea and go, fuck, that's actually a good point. Is that true to me? Like, it's true to me, but is it true in general? So if you're scared to come out of the house, let's say, for example, are majority of people scared to come out of the house? You know what I mean? Like, and that's where you got to go, is it real in the scheme of things?
Is it real or is it truth? Yeah, is it real or is it truth? We can do so many things, and the idea is it real for me? If it's real for me right now, there's no question about that's what you're experiencing. But is it true? So we can go beyond that. We can keep going beyond that, pushing those boundaries. Yes.
Sam, there's a fantastic comment there from Rocco, and I'm telling you now, you just dropped the fucking bomb. Like, seriously, you dropped one, right? Even a bomb on me, because I haven't really looked at it in that way. So just kudos to you, brother. Seriously. You occasionally do that, huh? We used to have our morning breakfast together, and you just drop one, or you have your vibe, and you're like, where'd you get this from? So did that just come out naturally, or it's something you've been thinking about?
No, that was just part of the topic. Because I deal with this with some clients, and that just popped into my mind right now when people have this process of, is this real? Yes, it's real. Obviously, there's no debating that person is feeling anxious or depressed or stressed, or whatever. I'm not here to challenge you. I'm not here to challenge you on that. I'm here to challenge you whether it's true or not.
Okay. Do you can see the comment there from Rocco? You've just blown his mind, yeah. So, and it's not easy to blow his mind. All right, cool. Just a couple more comments. Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting comment. Go ahead, Rash.
So Lana's saying here, big hello again to Lana. And the worst thing is, it does feel real, but I know I'm being totally irrational. So I know. Well, you can go with what you want to say there.
Go. So that statement, Lana, thanks for mentioning that, is, you see how she says, yes, that's the worst thing because it does feel real. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. No debate there. But then she says,
she admits.
Yeah. Yes. And then she says, but I know I'm being totally irrational too. So there's that part of us in our unconscious mind that says, you know what? I know this is real to me, but it's just not true. It's that little percentage. It's just not true.
So then what's the next point, Sam? So what? She's missing the action or the guidance. Yes. Someone's just got to grab the hand and say, come walk over this way. Right?
Or if it was, if it's not true for you, what is true for you?
Oh my God, that's such a fantastic book title for an episode. I love it. Go. I love it. You like that? Oh God. I didn't even notice I do stuff like that with my hands. And I'd go out for breakfast with Sam, and he'd be like, oh, dude, I love it when you do. And it's a bit of a DJ move, like, so cut in. You've seen me do my spinning of DJing a few times.
It's a good pattern interrupt. And speaking of pattern interrupts, I think we're just like coming up to the 50th minute right now, mate. Shall we?
Cool. We'll wrap up. Just one more comment. Someone who's lost the use of one arm. I go up and down. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So he must be going up and down in his. Read that, Sam, and try to decipher that if you can.
I need more information, Wayne. Sorry, I don't know what you mean. I don't understand. Someone who's
Well,
not
he's saying someone has lost the use of one's arm. I go up and down. So what I guess what he's trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong, Wayne, is that because he's lost one side of his arm, he's just goes up and down with his emotions. I gather. So maybe he'll tell us about that. But we've got to wrap up. Would love to help there. Or DJ Rash, there's another comment. All right. What do you want to wrap up with, my friend?
Good. I think we're going to be looking forward for next week's episode. It's just getting better and better. We're really enjoying this. I think we've managed. Rash, I got to say something. I think we've managed to meet at that point, that junction where you and I are really kind of letting loose. We're really going to go to that place. I do think we haven't really taken the deep dive, and I'm not sure the audience wants to go that deep. Who knows? Do let us know, and we're going to have some fun with this,
I just wanted to say, well, there's a comment from Wayne. He's saying life is difficult once being disabled. So I get that. So that's the ups and downs with that. And that's so challenging. But there's been so much, we know about Helen Keller and so many inspiring people that have been disabled that have used other things and just inspired millions of people. So it's a tough one. I don't have that much experience. I don't know if you want to comment on that. Sam,
would love to actually. That would be a great for the next week's episode. Actually, it came. You just inspired me for an idea for next week's episode on learning how to compensate your talents in different areas and take what you do know and applying it in a different place. I think that would be really cool. If you can tune in for next week, definitely that would be. I'm going to make a note of that right now. Actually.
Okay. You make a note of that. Sam, I just wanted to say we're getting there. We're getting the vibe, but we're not there yet. Those who don't know it. Yeah, I reckon we're around about 40% of us two. About 40%. You agree?
Yeah. Well, no, I think we're a little bit better than that, but we're getting better.
No, we are getting better, but you know what I'm talking about. It's like me and you on the table. You know what I'm talking about. We just talk to stuff. We're still playing. We're still playing. We've got to do this anchor stuff. I'm just saying. I'm being honest.
Dude, the way that came out, it came out totally wrong. You and me on the table, bro. Take that back, bro. People are gonna have stuff on their. Come on. People are gonna have stuff on their.
No. What I mean is on the tables, like, I'll say it. It's like put what we have a term like saying put your balls on the table, which means like really just going out there and putting balls on the line, right? So when we talk like that, and this feels a little bit more like it, us two just chatting, right? And we'll get through comments and stuff, but I reckon we're around about 40%. We'll get there, no problem. But
I like Rocco's point.
Oh, yeah, I like that too. I hope we win. We are so due to win. Okay, I'm going to run through a couple of these comments. We're going to wrap up in about 1 minute. So. Okay, cool. Yes, correct. Okay, that's Wayne. It's our pleasure, Wayne. Absolute pleasure.
Come on, Rocco.
Read out what the comments are, Sam, because there's people that won't be watching this, they'll be listening on Spotify and stuff. So Rocco's just said, my favorite mind-blowing show since the Twilight Zone. And he's showing his age there too. Twilight Zone, what was that, 90s? Early 90s? Yeah. It's like 30 years, dude. Anyway, Sam, dude, seriously, it's fucking amazing to get you back on a weekly basis. I reckon you've got so much to give. Predominantly now we're starting off with an Australian market, and hopefully it goes, you got your peeps in Dubai to listen in also. But you've got so much to give the Aussie market. Your background, from those that don't know, this guy, and we'll talk about it next week also, but this guy's body, he's built like seriously, you can't really see. He's hiding it there, but he's at the gym. He's like this, right? So he's a PT, personal trainer. He's all about, and you guys got to listen to what he talks about. the philosophy of building weights and the intent of just going to the gym and a whole bunch of different things. Another topic that we'll talk about.
Thanks,
So,
Rash.
yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
No worries.
Good. So we're wrapping up right now. Looking forward to next week. I think we've got 80s. That's what I thought too, Wayne. Yeah. Thanks, Rocco. Thanks, everyone watching. It was absolutely fantastico. Looking forward for next week's session. I think we've got some real juicy topics to talk about, including something else that I'm not going to mention, but we'll bring that up next week. That's going to be you got to be seated for that one. Put it that way.
We've got to tell you some stories that this guy's done. Anyway, we'll do it. All right. So, as we wrap up, thank you for listening in to us. We're trying our best. You want to listen, enjoy. We're glad that you enjoy. You can find us every Thursdays, 5 p.m. Melbourne time, 10 a.m. Dubai time on the Jumper Punch channel. This has been The Change Room. Thanks for listening in. Till next week, I'm going to give you the outro. We're out of here.